Good evening, my dear partners and friends. I appreciate a lot your presence here. Please let me know if you can hear me correctly, please. Let me know on the chat room soon, please. Today we are going to talk more about the Atlas project and what are Atlas intellectual property shares. Please pay attention and leave me all your questions on the chat room soon, please. As you know, I am Veronica Pucheta. I am Argentinian Christian woman, financial advisor, and regional coordinator for Mexico and for Bahamas as well. I am going to share with you some videos to the better understanding about the Atlas project. Please pay attention, please.
Atlas intellectual property is protected in 181 countries worldwide.
An important point regarding the Atlas project is its intellectual property. The intellectual property of the Atlas project includes all business processes, methodology, algorithms, structure, design elements, general logic, the main technologies and products used, plus means of individualization, namely the brand, logo, corporate colors, identity, and so on. This intellectual property is registered internationally. This registration covers 181 countries in the world. The registration cost exceeded 1 million dirhams. This is a significant amount for the project, but this is exactly how, in today's world, a project can protect itself from unfair copying and plagiarism. If your project wants to use any elements or solutions that were first implemented by the Atlas project, we highly recommend contacting us to discuss this interaction, because otherwise your project risks getting into the IP radar and in the future, through effective enforcement mechanics, ceasing its operations. Conducted searches confirm the fact that at this stage, neither at the prototype level nor at the level of implemented products, there are no analogs to Atlas in the world. Thus, starting from the priority date, namely the date of our registration, all projects that significantly replicate our functionality, elements, roles, methodologies, algorithms, technologies, and so on, may fall into the IP radar, and we will be forced to resort to enforcement mechanisms. The Atlas IP portfolio, all technologies, products, brands, methodologies, algorithms, and so on, is currently valued at nearly $100 million, according to international intellectual property valuation standards. That is why enforcement mechanics are so effective, because in case of violation of the intellectual rights of the Atlas project, you cause damage on an especially large scale.
I am going to read this advisement. Please pay attention. Good afternoon, my dear partners and friends. Before we begin, it is important to clarify a very important point for understanding. All information presenting during this meeting is for informational and educational purposes only. It is based on the analysis of historical data and practical experience. It is important that you understand we don't provide investment recommendations, and any decisions are made by you independently. The result depends on many factors, including market conditions, the economic environment, and other external circumstances. For its part, the Skyward community ecosystem provides tools and analytics that allow for building a more systematic approach to working with assets. This is very important for understanding. As you know, SWC ecosystem give us an opportunity to diversify our portfolio, beginning with SWC Pass. And today, I am going to share with you what is about the Atlas project. Because today, we have an opportunity to buy IP shares, intellectual property, and become a co-owner of the Atlas project. Atlas is your step to opportunities in a growing market. Don't miss the chance to become a part of real estate innovation. Atlas, which will change the rules of the game in the market and create new opportunities for your capital growth. Let's continue. Let's continue, my dear partners and friends. The Atlas is the operating system of the real estate market. It's the first ecosystem to bring together search, payments, services, and investment in a single super app. The macroeconomic context, the United Arab Emirates as a global center. The forecasts for United Arab Emirates GDP growth in 2025, it was 4.9%. Transparent. Dubai is the only market in the Middle East and North Africa region to hold this status in the GLL Global Index. The transaction volume in Dubai for 2024, it was plus 38%. This is equal to 761 billion dirhams. And the market volume is 200 billion a year. The United Arab Emirates is the only officially transparent property market in the Middle East and North Africa region. The market volume and growth potential. The total cash flow in the United Arab Emirates real estate is 200 billion and plus. The part of the market that can be digitized is 30 to 50 billions. The goal for the early stage is from 2 till 5 billions. Is 1 from 1 to 2% of the market. This is represent. There is currently no platform in the United Arab Emirates that integrates IA, smart contracts, and crypto infrastructure into a single system. The American equivalent of Silo is valued at 10 to 40 billion dollars, while Atlas is entering a free niche in the United Arab Emirates market. This means that the growth potential here is significantly higher than in already major markets. The real estate market in the United Arab Emirates have a lot of problems. For example, the issue 1, agent-centric market. The real estate market in the United Arab Emirates is structured in such a way that the agent often plays the leading role in a transaction rather than the seller or the buyer. The agent controls access to information, communicates, and can influence the course of the transaction. As a result, the interests of the actual parties to the transaction are often distorted. In the United Arab Emirates, it is legally provided to work with more than two agents at the same time. The seller and buyer never meet face to face. All communications take place strictly through the broker. The agent can hide the difference in price. The seller agreed to 1.1 million dirhams. The buyer paid 1.2 million dirhams. 100 thousand 100,000 dirhams remains with the intermediary. This is a systematic norm of the market, not an exception. The market fragmentation. Currently, the search for a property and the payment process are separate from each other. This is similar to the situation when a person orders a taxi through an app and then still has to call the driver, look for change, sign papers, and confirm the ride manually. It is precisely this gap between finding a property and reaching the transaction that Atlas closes. The issue 3 in the real estate market in the United Arab Emirates. Paid as misrepresentation. On standard platforms, Property Finder, the Law Buyout, agencies pay a retainer fee up to $500 per day per property, regardless of the outcome. The winner in the issue is the one who paid the most, not the best property. Up to 75% of listings may contain errors or outdated data. A person learns the truth only through a personal visit. Agencies post phantom listing using other people's photos, a tactic designed to capture leads rather than showcase an actual property. A customer calls and they tell them, this apartment has just been sold, but there are others. And the issue 4 in the United Arab Emirates real estate is weak analysis. Many platforms display distorted analytics. They compare properties that appear superficially similar, but fail to account for real differences, such as type, location, and quality. As a result, people see inaccurate prices, make the wrong decision, and fail to grasp the true state of the market. Let's continue. And the real estate market in the United Arab Emirates, the issue 5 is the fragmented and opaque communication. Contact between buyer and seller takes place through agents and it's spread across various channels. Phone, WhatsApp, email. There is no single records of the communication, making it difficult to track negotiations. Offers may change or be misrepresented. The transaction turns into a chaotic process lacking transparency and oversight. And the issue 6, the manual processes and wasted time. Buying or renting real estate still involves a lot of offline actions, trips, paper documents, bank checks, and lengthy coordinations. The process takes weeks, especially for non-residents, and results in unnecessary costs and inconvenience. The market still operates as an old system, which lacks a single digital portal. Atlas okay. Atlas, a real estate market operating system. A single app is a single app that covers the entire transaction process. Search, verification, documents, payment, transfer of ownership, closing a transaction without being physically present. The first step, purchase, sale, rent, wallet, services, and investment. The real estate market in the United Arab Emirates has existed as a state for about 60 years and has undergone a period of development at an unprecedented pace. The digitalis- the digitization, the digitization, the digitization, okay, difficult word for me, of the real estate market is the next essential step. It's not a question of if, but a question of who's first. Atlas is the answer to this question. The issue, the United Arab Emirates real estate market is a large capital center, but the digital environment in it is still fragmented. The search and payments exist separately from each other. There is no single environment where a transaction is processed from start to finish. The solution, Atlas, is a vertical super app that combines identity, wallet, and assets. A single path within the system, purchasing, finance, servicing, and investment. Web 2.5 infrastructure, reliability of traditional money, plus speed and efficiency of blockchain. The market starts in the United Arab Emirates, Dubai, the most transparent market in the Middle East, North Africa region. Good evening, my dears. And the potential over 200 billions in annual cash flows, scaling in the Gulf cooperation commerce, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and beyond the global markets. Let's continue. Units economic. Units economics. How revenue is generated. Average transaction, $300,000. Atlas fee, 1%. That is equal to $3,000. The margin, more or less 80%. Increase of the profit margin. The main costs are for development. Each new transaction adds very little in additional costs. Therefore, as revenue grows, profits grow faster. The transaction cycle, 2 or 3 months. The short-term buyback model allows you to turn over your capital approximately 4 times a year using the same funds. The model's potential up to 60% per annum. The financial model. Scaling. 0.1% of the market, $2 million. 1% of the market, $20 million. 3% of the market, $60 million. The larger the market share, the faster revenue grows. On the first year, the revenue Atlas wants to have this revenue on the first year, $3.15 million, and the net profit, $1.97 million. On the second year, Atlas wants to grow, and the revenue they want to achieve is $15.88 million and net profit of $9.97 million. On the third year, the revenue they want to achieve is $80 million and the net profit of $55.77 million. And they want to continue growing on the fourth year and the fifth year. Why now and how to participate? The pre-seed stage is the earlier stage. And you, for example, you are available to buy an IP share from the price of 0.556 IP shares, and you will receive, for example, 1.8 IP share instead of 1. After the round closes, the price will rise to $1 and then to $3.8 per stake. The packages we have available from today in our personal account in SWC, the packages from $500 and you will receive 110 IP shares. And for example, from $100 to $25,000 and you will receive 40,000 IP shares. The number of packages is limited. The registration is completely remote. No presence in the United Arab Emirates is required. The seller and register keeper is Keisra Limited. IP shares is a long-term asset. The earlier a person joins, the stronger their position regarding the entry price and future royalty payments. When a client purchases IP shares, they become a co-owner of Atlas intellectual property, the one that the prime legit FCO Co. has officially valued at $92 million. In the other words, it's not just an idea, but an asset with proven value. The register of owners is maintained by Atlas Overseas Limited. The value of the stake should increase as the project progresses. According to the plan, by March 2027, when the app launches and the first transactions take place, the valuation of the intellectual property will rise from $92 million to $350 million. This means that a 10% stake, which is currently valued at $9.2 million, will be valued at $35 million. The mechanics of royalty. 20% of Atlas net profit is distributed annually among IP shareholders in proportion to their stake. According to the financial model, without any guarantee, the royalties on the invested dollars look like as follows. The first year, 20% of profits are reinvested into platform growth, increasing returns for holders in subsequent years. The first year, no payments. The funds remain inside the company. The second year, in the pre-seed stage, 2.62% per annum, and the seed stage, 1.79% per annum. The third year, in the stage pre-seed, 12.73% per annum, and the seed stage, 9.09% per annum. In the fourth year, as you know, and you will see, the percentage of the profit is increased. The difference between the rounds is due to the pre-seed bonus. For every dollar invested, the partner receives up to 1.8 IP shares instead of 1. Those who join later, after the first revaluation in round A, when the price per share rises to $3.80, will receive significantly less, about 8.4% per annum in the fourth year and 16% in the fifth. The financial model was verified by an independent analyst, Vadim Voronin, former senior analyst at JP Morgan. Due diligence of independent company underway. How IP shares holders receive royalties. IP share is the digital stake in Atlas intellectual property, which the prime legit fiscal company Dubai has valued at $92 million. This is not a stock, a cryptocurrency, or security. This is a digital right to a stake of intellectual property registered in the KSRA Limited Registry. Purchasing a share implies receiving a portion of its income from its issue in the form of royalties. This is not just an idea, but 9 to 12 to 11 registered in works of science, description of technologies, algorithm, methodologies, designs, branding, official international registration in 181 countries. How to exit an asset. And here we have an important difference. How to exit an asset. An international OTC platform within the SWC field ecosystem is planned for launch after the rounds close. An alternative option is an independent OTC sale. In case of OTC sale or P2P, peer-to-peer transfer, all rights are transferred to the new holder, the royalties and the right to buy back in full. The possible Atlas buyback in 5 years. Excuse me. Okay. The possible Atlas buyback in 5 years, 8x limit of the invested amount for participant of the pre-seed and seed rounds. Tokenization into security tokens and listing on an external exchange. The selling of a stake to another person legally possible at any time. And peer-to-peer exchange inside the platform after the round's closing. The roadmap, this is very interesting. The roadmap for Atlas app is: in 2026, app launch first transactions, rental module. In 26-27, urgent property redemption management fund. 2027, in advance entry into the Gulf commercial council. This cycle is the Gulf Cooperation Council and European markets. And the third year, IPO on the Abu Dhabi Stock Exchange, and the capitalization will grow to $600 million. And the seventh year, access to international stock exchange, and the capitalization will grow to $2.5 billion. And in 10 years, the capitalization will grow to $8 billion. The strong team and leader with real experience is Alexei Kazarchuk. Is the founder and founder, COO, and expert at the intersection of Web 2 and Web 3, MBA, over 9 years of international management experience in CEO, COO, and CBDO roles, experience in prop tech, fintech, DeFi, GameFi, practical experience in real estate sales in the United Arab Emirates, analytics and agent training, deep understanding of the transaction processes and regulatory requirements. This is Alexei speak. I personally worked in the United Arab Emirates market for 4 years. Investment broker, analyst, agent, head of sales department. The Atlas idea, it comes from 4 years ago. Everything came together at the end of 2025. And Alexei is a financial model. The financial model is created by Vadim Voronin, ex-JP Morgan, and due diligence underway. The rational solution. The rational solution. Atlas is a market with 200 and plus $billion, a scalable model, fee from transactions, additional capital. Your entry into the project from $100 to $25,000, and you will get 110 IP shares from 110 IP shares to 40,000 IP shares. 80% bonus for every dollar. You get 1.8 IP shares instead of 1. The selling the stake to another person is legally possible at any time. The tokenization into security tokens and listing on an external exchange. The Atlas buyback possible in 5 years. 8x limit of the invested amount for participants in the pre-seed and seed rounds. Okay.